Hey you guys, it's Peter, and I'm back. Of course I'm back. Not going anywhere. I'm YouTube famous now. Alright, so shall we beat this dead horse just a little bit more? That is Amy Slaton. Okay, so let me explain to you before I get into this video, because this video is some opinion, some compassion, and some research, okay? So before you all come for me in the comment section below and say that you are disappointed in me and you can't believe I made this video and on and on and on, I want to explain a few things, all right? So several nights ago, as a YouTube viewer, you guys know that I am, somebody sent me another Amy Slaton video. So I went and watched it and I was like, I don't understand all of this, what people love about Amy Slaton, okay? And so I fell down the rabbit hole of Amy Slaton. I also fell down the rabbit hole of the multitudes of videos that people have made about Amy Slaton and Tammy Slaton, the Slaton sisters, okay? So, which apparently they're part of what's called the feeding community. So anyway, I was looking into that and blah, 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 whatever, which is when I made the video called Amy Slaton Confuses Me, okay? If you go and watch my video, I'm not nasty. I'm maybe chuckle a little bit because I'm confused by the whole thing. But I said in there that she does these makeup tutorials that are getting hundreds of thousands, if not millions of views, okay? Who is watching these videos? And I asked openly in the comment section to tell me why people are watching Amy Slaton. I then made a follow-up video, I think it was yesterday. Yeah, because I'm like literally doing them back to back at this point. I made a video yesterday which was called, let's get right on this exciting information, Beauty Guru Affiliate Codes Conspiracy. But I made a video called Amy Slaton Hate Comments, okay? And in that video what I did was, I went into the comment sections of my videos and I read what people had said, okay? Why they watched Amy. I was actually rather fair to her in the video, and I said some things in there about how the story about her sister Tammy being sick and possibly dying and all that kind of stuff. And then I also in there said at the end of it that I don't understand why people are hate watching Amy, you know, and then I made some comment that I was more than willing to kind of try to help her out or find her some help in her area if that was what she needed, because it seems to me that these girls who claim that they're morbidly obese, yet continue to eat unhealthy and aren't taking care of themselves, and their families seem to enable that process all at the expense of to make money. It concerns me, okay? About anybody in the world. It's not just Amy Slaton. If I saw anybody like that, it would concern me, all right? And I hope that, you know, if I were doing some of those behaviors that people would say things to me, and when I have had unhealthy behaviors in my life, thankfully, I am blessed that I have had people in my life say to me, I'm concerned about you. It is why I am sitting here today, clean and sober, because I was engaging in unhealthy behaviors, okay? So, all of that being said, I do want to clarify one thing. I have stated, I think in one video, maybe two, that Amy supposedly said that her sister had died. Okay, that is incorrect. I have now gone back and watched a lot of these videos, all right? And Amy never said that her sister had died. What she said was that her sister was on life support, which, you know, is end of life kind of things, and I'll explain why that's personal for me in a second. And that her sister was on life support, and she made this very tragic video where you can only see about this much of her head, and she's crying, and she's talking about how she started a GoFundMe account because she needs to pay for funeral expenses, which are going to be extremely expensive because Tammy is morbidly obese and they're going to need a bigger casket and all this kind of stuff. This was the emphasis, okay? And so she started a GoFundMe account because she needed money for this large casket and funeral expenses and all this kind of stuff. She also said in the video, well, the next video is when she addressed it and said that she was going to give the money that she got at a time and take it over to the funeral home so that it would build up. And that way she would have the money there if something did happen to Tammy, okay? It actually wasn't until her apology video when she explained what had happened and that Tammy had miraculously survived this life support and was fine and all this kind of stuff, that she had given the money to her mother who had paid Tammy's bills with it, okay? Totally understandable. Tammy can't pay her bills while she's living at home. I'm not really sure what bills she has while she's living at home. I'm sure it's expensive, but that's what she spent her money on. So there is no money, is what she's saying, to pay people back. And then she says she'll pay people back, you know, if you can give her a confirmation code of what payment, I'm not really sure. A GoFundMe account? So, first of all, the reason I'm making this video today is that I got a Snapchat from somebody that said that Amy's mother and stepfather had commented on my video, okay? So I'm just gonna read you the comment that they left me on my video. I was a little smarter about this today, so I screenshotted all this stuff. Okay, so Darlene, Slayton, and Frank say, Amy never told anyone her sister was dead. You are spreading hate or gossip. Okay, so to address that, I apologize. I got that part of the story wrong. I have no problem owning my stuff on camera and saying, listen, I got that part of the story wrong, okay? But she did mislead people by saying that she needed this money for funeral expenses, and then it never went towards funeral expenses, it went towards bills, okay? So she misled her viewers in saying it was for this, I ended up spending it for that. So for example, it would be like if my mother was still alive and she had cancer, and I said, I'm starting a GoFundMe account for her cancer treatments, and then my mother found out tomorrow she didn't have cancer treatments, and I spent that money to go on a cruise with my mom. It's misleading, okay? It's unethical. So anyway, it goes on and she says, Tammy was on life support and was not expected to pull through. You cannot cremate an obese person, and the state charges the family for funeral expenses, including a custom-sized coffin. Let's read that again, boys and girls. You cannot cremate an obese person, and the state charges the family for funeral expenses, including a custom-sized coffin. She asked for help in despair. She also put on the GoFundMe page, if she did pull through, she would give the money to Tammy to pay off bills. Okay, I did not see that part on the GoFundMe because the GoFundMe account does not exist anymore. Stop spreading rumors to fuel hate among hate watchers. Now, if that part truly was on the GoFundMe account, I apologize. But if you go to the GoFundMe account support page and you ask them about fraudulent things, it says on here, the GoFundMe team wants to know about any campaign organizer that is misrepresenting themselves or the stated purpose of their campaign, and that you have an obligation to report it. So if you're saying that about that, you would have to indicate and make a disclaimer in the video as well as on GoFundMe account that this is for that. You can't say it's for a funeral in your video, mislead people to go to your GoFundMe account, expect them to read where it says that it's for bills. You needed to get on camera and say this is for bills as well, possibly. So it's a little sketchy, but it's misleading, okay? So I went back in here and I'm like, I'm reading the comments and I'm reading, you know, all the stuff that they say. So she says that, and then, the response, this is why I don't screenshot things, folks. So then the next comment underneath that said, she wasn't even sick, that's the point. Amy said that then the next day she uploaded a video with Tammy and she was just fine. You don't go from life support one day to home like nothing happened the next. She lied, then said she'd pay everyone back, and still to this day says it. But no one has gotten the money. You're obviously misinformed. And then her mother says, this is a complete lie. And then somebody else comments to them, show that she's a liar, point blank, period. Lots of people have not gotten their money back. She needs to come clean and pay them back. And then the next person said, she claimed Amy was not on life support and was fine the next day, a complete lie. And then somebody else says something, and then this other person says, Tammy got sick late April 2015. You can go through Amy's videos at that time and see. People are getting it confused because Tammy was in the hospital so many times. The GoFundMe was made early May of 2015 when Tammy was sick on life support and was expected to pull through. She was there for over a month and then moved to a nursing home. I wish people would stop spreading the lie that she got better the next day. It's bullshit, okay? Well, I appreciate you for clarifying that, Misty Ray. What's interesting on here is that you say the GoFundMe account was made early of May 2015 when Tammy was sick on life support and was expected to pull through. So what was the GoFundMe account for if she was expected to pull through? Okay, I don't understand that at all. So then the next comment on here, somebody says, thanks for clarifying, but the haters are going to hate no matter what the truth is, and I totally agree with that, and this is not a video about hate, okay? I'm not trying to inspire any hate towards Amy. I'm saying that we should be concerned. You know, when Eugenia Cooney had this huge eating disorder that everybody was talking about on drama channels that I didn't think was necessarily appropriate, but then I started thinking about it, and I was like, why are we allowing this to continue to go on to be a role model for other people? Like, it's concerning. If people really care about her, let's reach out and offer her the help that she deserves, okay? So, in the same light, isn't it the same with Amy Slaton? I mean, she claims she's morbidly obese, yet she continues to engage in these behaviors on camera, and people hate watch that. That's kind of sick, okay? So then at the end of the comment, Darlene leaves this comment. I don't even understand what it means unless somebody deleted their comment, and it says, sure, what kind are you offering? So at the end of my video, I said that I was more than willing to offer them some kind of help if they wanted me to find it for them or whatever, that I would help them find services in their area, okay? So I have a feeling that might be what she's insinuating. And listen, I don't feel like, I watched both of those videos back today, and I don't feel like I was really dragging Amy. I was really asking her fans, and I even said in my last video, this is to her fans, her Uber fans, what is it that you love about Amy? Now, I will tell you this. I have watched several of Amy's videos when she gets a little heated. She has a tendency to not always be the nicest person in the world on camera. None of us are always, okay? But like, it's not like she's the sweetest strawberry shortcake in the world, sitting there just, you know, doing makeup tutorials, and y'all see that when she opened the P.O. box and she threw cards and all that kind of stuff, and when she made the apology, she got really upset with people. I mean, there's an undertone, okay? Not to mention I went back and I watched all these videos about her with this guy, and I mean, it just is the virgin, you know, that whole story. Okay, so listen, I've done my research. I've even done my research so far that, let's go back and remember, okay, Amy's mother said, you cannot cremate an obese person, and the state charges the family for funeral expenses, including a custom-sized coffin, all right? All right. So I was like, I wonder if that's true. So I got online on Google, and I Googled their area, and I called up Patton Funeral Home in Brownsville, Kentucky, which is an hour from them, and I said to the man on the phone, I said, could I speak to somebody about funeral arrangements? And he said yes, and I said, okay, this is going to be a very strange question, but I'm just wondering, in the state of Texas, is it true that you cannot cremate a morbidly obese person? He said, no, that's absolutely incorrect. I said, would it cost more to cremate a morbidly obese person than it would to cremate just a regular sized person? He said, not necessarily. And I said, but let me state this again. In the state of Kentucky, it is not illegal, like you can cremate a morbidly obese person. He said, yes, absolutely. We do it all the time. I then called 3 other funeral homes in the state of Kentucky, and they all said the same thing, okay? One of which is in the hometown that Amy and her family live. So is that a lie? You just told me on here in the comment that in the state of Kentucky, you can't cremate a morbidly obese person. So that's not true. Furthermore, I went in and I Google searched, morbidly obese people and their funeral expenses, and I came up with the U.S. Funerals Online, okay, which is a website that discusses all about funerals online. And it talks in here about, as a fast food nation, people that are morbidly obese and the expenses that it costs them to bury them or to cremate them. And while the expense is more, it's not a lot more, okay? So it's not like you would have to have a casket. You could cremate somebody, all right? You could also rent a casket for an open funeral if you wanted to do that. I know that because my aunt just passed away several weeks ago, and we had those options, okay? The other reason why this really affects me on a personal level is that my mother was on life support for 3 months, one of which she was in a coma, okay? I personally had to make the decision to take her off life support. At that point, when you're on life support, and what life support means is very few people, just so you know, medically, very, very few people come off life support and have no brain injury, no physical injury, they don't need occupational therapy, they don't need some kind of therapy to get through that, okay? That is almost rare that that ever happens, especially to somebody of Tammy's size that has multiple health complications, okay? It's almost unheard of, right? My mother at the end, the reason why I opted to take her off life support was because the doctors, a team of 7 doctors that oversaw her while she was on life support. My mother, her insurance was Hoosier Insurance Plan, okay? Which is basically disability social security. It's the exact same thing that Amy and her sister have in a different county or a different state. So they would be optioned the same kind of medical advice. I had 7 doctors on a team working with my mother, okay? At the end, they said to me, because of being on feeding tubes, because of being on life support and oxygen, she's been in a coma, She will not be able to eat on her own. She probably will never be able to walk again. She may be blind. She will have no quality of life. That is why I took her off life support. When we talk about somebody being on life support, this is a really, really serious thing, okay? Had I watched Amy's video at that time, having gone through what I went through, I probably would have maybe donated some money, because I would have felt like, holy crap, I went through the same thing. That is such a crazy time to go through something like that you're like, I don't even know what to think. Like, do I take her off life support? Do I not? I mean, it is like, if you've ever gone through that, I mean, if you've ever had a family member that's been in ICU or on life support, it's devastating. You don't know what to do. Like, you really feel like, what is the right decision? So to just throw out there, I'm starting a GoFundMe account for funeral expenses, basically means you've already decided that she's not gonna make it through, okay? Because I can tell you right now, this one wasn't thinking about the funeral. I was praying for my mother's life until the very end. So that's just my 2 cents, but I'm just telling you how I wasn't thinking about how I was going to afford a funeral. I just wasn't. I was thinking about how are we going to keep her alive? What are we going to do? And only when the doctors finally said to me, there is no other recourse, there is nothing that we can do, this is your mother's quality of life, this is what it's going to look like, did I make that heart-wrenching decision. And have you ever been there, okay? You will know that what I am talking about is the absolute truth. Until that moment, you are fighting for that person's life. You're not concerned with starting GoFundMe accounts. I'm not being cruel. I'm stating the truth, okay? So then, because Darlene said, what kind of help, I further searched, and I went in here, and I looked up, oh my Lord. I went up and I looked in the state of Kentucky, and there are all kinds of health programs that you can get that are free if you are on disability and Social Security, which Amy is. So, for example, you can go in here where it says kentucky.gov. So, Darlene, you can get on kentucky.gov. I did it. And you can put in here, it pulls it up, and then it tells you all the different things that you can get. Diseases and conditions, adult health, where they do like nutrition screening, they put you on a diet, they assign a nutritionist to you. If you want to lose weight in a really healthy way, do lifestyle changes, maybe get rid of the deep fried Twinkies and stop doing around the world recipes, and maybe care about your life so that you're not going to end up on life support because of your medical conditions that are directly related to your size and to your weight, which concerns me and concerns me about anybody in my life that I watch or know or whatever. I mean, I don't understand why somebody would continue to want to hurt themselves that way. So anyway, you can go under there in kentucky.gov, and it tells you all the places. At the same time, you can also go in here under mental well-being and disability, and you can pull that up, and then it goes through here and it asks you what kind of health plan you have. Aetna, Anthem, Humana, Passport Health Plan, which is like in Indiana, the Hoosier Insurance Plan. You get it at a certain age, or if you're sick, maybe disability, or WellCare of Kentucky, which is probably what disability is. Then you can go in here and you can look and see what kind of therapist you're looking for. Certified social worker, clinical social worker, licensed clinical social worker, psychiatrist, psychologist group, okay? And then you go in here and you look for all kinds of different providers they have in here. And you can find that they have psychiatric hospitals, regional prevention centers, substance abuse treatment centers, suicide prevention, adult crisis. You can go in there and then you can hit the buttons for the ones that you want to find. This is for any state. This isn't just Kentucky. And then you go in here and you click the county, okay, that you want, and then it will pull up all of those different resources in your area. Then all you have to do is call them and you have to explain, I'm on disability, I'm on Social Security. I need to talk to somebody, a caseworker or case manager, about possibly getting nutritional services, those kinds of things. You need to also maybe get a counselor and say, like, I've got a lot of issues going on. People are calling me a liar. People are mean to me. I have lied in the past. You know, my sister was on life support. It was a very stressful time for me. I think it would be good for me to have somebody to talk to maybe and get through this stuff, maybe get my stuff together, okay? Amy, I would be willing to sit there and talk to you on the phone or your family and help you get to the point where you can pull yourself together. I think you're a girl that really, really, really likes the positive attention that you get, and I think that's great. I totally relate to that. We all love attention, okay? I would be more than willing to help you because I don't want to come across on my channel as a bullshit artist and act like I don't care about people, all right? There's a lot of lying. There's a lot of enabling going on. And what's going to end up happening is Amy Slaton and Tammy Slaton are not going to live to the age of 50 if they continue to live it the way that they're living. That is very, very scary. And I am speaking directly to her family right now. You're enabling that process, okay? If you care about your daughters, please help them get better. Okay? When you know better, you do better. You know better now. I'm telling you. They're not living healthy, okay? And just imagine if Amy got a nutritionist, or another thing you could do is you could call, I mean, she's talked on her channel a lot about bariatric surgery. You could call all kinds of surgeons in the Kentucky area. I am sure one of them, or a licensed or not licensed or whatever, physical therapist or somebody, a fitness trainer or nutritionist or a bariatric surgeon or whatever, they want PR. You have 80,000 subscribers on YouTube. If you went and did what they told you to do, I'm sure maybe someone out there would exchange you free services for you showing your process and your progress online, okay? Can you imagine Amy Slaton turning her channel in from people hate watching her to her being the most inspiring person in YouTube because she changed her life around, because she lost a mass amount of weight, got healthy, and was inspiring to hundreds and thousands of YouTubers out there? That's pretty incredible. Amy, you could do that. You have the power to do that. You have the power that people are watching your story on a daily basis and they really like you. If you go to my videos, there weren't a lot of hate comments on there, okay? And I will say this. Somebody made a comment on my video and they said the reason that Amy deleted her comment on my original video, because if you watch my last video, she commented on it and then she deleted it. She actually deleted her comment off of both of my videos. She commented yesterday as well, but that's beside the point. On the first video, she deleted her comment, and somebody said to me, she probably deleted her comment because she was afraid of the hate comment she was going to get underneath it. I deleted all of the nasty comments that people had left directly to Amy underneath there. I would not allow that on my channel, okay? I go in there and I do the best that I can, and if people are fair and say, I hate watch and this is why, I don't think that that's cruel, okay? I think it's maybe uncalled for that you're hate watching them, but I don't necessarily think that it's cruel. It's called the truth. Now, if you go in there and you say, this blank, 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 I'm gonna delete that comment. Nobody needs to see that about themselves. It's cruel, okay? I don't, you don't, she doesn't. But I think instead of us continuing to hate watch her and enable this process, why don't we enable her to get healthy and change her channel for something really, really positive? I think that would be incredible, okay? I would love to see Amy and Tammy Slaton do something like, the Fitness Sisters and really pull it together. And they could do it. They absolutely could do it. And that channel, I'm telling you right now, if Amy Slaton, if you turned your channel around and did that, I'm telling you within a year, you'd have 1 million subscribers. Everybody would be watching it going, if they can do it, we all can do it. Trust me, I would watch those videos and I'd be like, if Amy Slaton can get her shit together, I can get my shit together. Because I don't eat healthy all the time. So, I totally get it. But we're past the point of hate watching, trolling, making offensive statements, calling people out for liars. Okay, she's lied in the past. Everybody's lied at some point in the past, all right? I proved that her family lied. I don't know why they're lying. I don't know why they're making excuses. I don't know why they're enabling this lifestyle. But the point of me proving that is saying that every once in a while we start telling ourselves lies and we start believing it. You can't get cremated in the state of Kentucky. You have to get a bigger casket, which means we have to have more money so we can get the bigger casket. Why are we not instead looking at the fact that you're having to have those issues because you're morbidly obese? Let's fix being morbidly obese. Let's fix having the most amazing life that we can possibly have. Amy, you're 30. You have a long life ahead of you if you turn this stuff around. I mean, seriously. So, I'm putting that out there. I hope that you are willing to take some of those things and maybe even just consciously for an afternoon think. Maybe there's something to this. Maybe there's something about changing my life around. Maybe I could do that. And I know it will be hard. I know it will be the hardest thing you ever do in your entire life. But trust me, as somebody that has done getting clean and sober was the hardest thing I've ever done in my entire life. life-changing. Everything I have today is set on the foundation of my sobriety. You can do this. You can change your life for the better. You can really inspire and motivate people. I know it. I can see it in you, okay? So anyway, I hope you guys appreciate this video. I hope you see that my goal for all of this is not to hate watch her or troll her. It's really just to put the truth out there and how I really feel about this, in my opinion. I love you guys. Follow me on all my social media. I am vlogging every day for the year 2017. It's listed below, and I will talk to you later. Bye.